Give me your attention. I will destroy your weakness, not with motivation, not with feel-good nonsense, but by showing you what you call weakness for what it really is, a lie. You've told yourself this lie so many times you think it's your personality. But if you can sit through this, if you can let these words hit the parts of you that you hide, something will break. What comes next won't be a better you, it will be the you that was always there, buried under the weakness, waiting for you to stop protecting it. Let's be clear. This isn't for the soft. This isn't for people who need their feelings protected. This is for those ready to look at life with their eyes open, for those tired of lying to themselves, for those who know nothing is coming to save them, and finally decided to stop waiting. If that's you, if you're done with the fear, the waiting, the apologizing for existing, then this is where you start. Not your transformation, your return. Because strength was never outside you. It was buried under self-doubt, under what they taught you, under your addiction to comfort. So let's start with a question. What is weakness? You think weakness is crying, being small, having no discipline. Wrong. Weakness is needing permission. Weakness is letting other people decide your worth, people who don't even know themselves. Weakness is choosing peace over truth. Weakness is lying about what you want because you're scared of judgment. Weakness is calling your laziness self-care, your fear humility, your insecurity empathy. Weakness is not the absence of strength, it is the presence of betrayal, self-betrayal. Here's the truth that will hurt. The world is built to make you weak. Your education taught you to obey. Your culture taught you to fit in. Your media feeds you helplessness disguised as news. Even the people who love you, many of them need your softness, your silence, your hesitation, so they encourage it, they praise your selflessness, they reward your smallness. Not because it's good for you, because it keeps you controllable, predictable, dependent, forgettable. If you're still here, you're not like most people. Most click away the moment it gets uncomfortable. Subscribe now. This is just the beginning. Nietzsche saw this coming. He said, the individual has always had to struggle to keep from being overwhelmed by the tribe. He wasn't talking about fighting. He was talking about the war inside your mind. The war between who you are and who they want you to be. The system wants you tame. It wants you asking permission. It wants you grateful for scraps. But you feel it, don't you? That anger, that frustration, that tiredness that sleep won't fix. That's not burnout. That's the cost of weakness, the cost of silencing your instincts to keep everyone comfortable. Stop, breathe, let it sink in. Here's what you need to understand. You were not born to be soft. You were not born to tolerate everything. You were not born to fold every time someone frowns at you. You were born to be something sharper, something unshakable, not chaotic, but untouchable. The reason you feel weak is because you've denied this part of you for so long. You've convinced yourself it never existed, but it did. It does, and we're going to dig it out right now. Let's talk about your habits. Because weakness lives in routine, in the small things you do every day that rot your willpower while you tell yourself you're fine. You wake up, you check your phone, already lost. Not because phones are bad, but because you didn't own the day. You gave it away. You scroll, you compare, you get angry, then you tell yourself it's harmless. But every time you react before you create, you get weaker. You become soft. You lose your edge. What else? You eat garbage and call it a treat. You binge shows and call it relaxation. You avoid hard conversations and call it peace. You hit snooze and call it rest. You say yes when you mean no and call it kindness. You delay your goals and call it patience. Each one of these is a small surrender. Each one makes you weaker. Each one teaches you that comfort matters more than strength. Nietzsche said, "He who cannot obey himself will be commanded." Look around. Who's commanding you? Your phone, your cravings, your fears, your need to be liked. So change it. Own your mornings. Before you touch a screen, check your posture. Check your breath. You are not a consumer first. You are a creator, a builder. Your energy is not available to algorithms the second you open your eyes. Next, your words. Weakness shows up in how you speak, how you water yourself down to make people comfortable, how you speak softly so they won't feel threatened, how you say, "I don't know" when you do, how you apologize for things that don't need an apology. You're leaking power, and they can feel it. That's why they don't listen to you. That's why they talk over you. That's why they don't respect you. Listen to how weak people speak. "I'm sorry, but could you maybe... I don't want to bother you, but this might be stupid, but..." They apologize before they even start. They give you permission to ignore them. Now listen to strong people. "We need to talk. Here's what I think. This is what's happening." No apologies, no hedging, no permission sought. Stop whispering. Be clear. Clarity is force. Clarity makes people stop and listen. If your presence doesn't do that yet, you have work to do. Not because you're broken, because you've been hiding. Stop hiding. Own your opinions. Say them clean. Don't explain them. Let the silence after you speak have weight. Most people are afraid of silence. You won't be, because silence creates tension, and tension is how you earn respect. Pause. Feel the weight of those words. Now let's talk about emotion. You think strength means feeling nothing. That's wrong. Strength means feeling everything and still choosing your action. You don't react. You respond. When someone disrespects you, you don't explode. You don't chase them. You don't defend yourself. You stare. You wait. And when you move, it's exact. It's surgical. That is strength. Weakness is emotion without control. Weakness is letting your feelings drive. Weakness is crying because you're overwhelmed instead of crying because someone you love is hurting. Weakness is getting angry because someone hurt your ego instead of getting angry because they hurt someone you protect. Weakness is feeling fear and calling it intuition. Weakness is feeling jealousy and calling it love. Weakness is feeling resentment and calling it justice. Strength is emotion with discipline. Strength is feeling the anger and choosing the response. Strength is feeling the fear and doing it anyway. Stop saying, "I'm just emotional." That's a lie. You're just undisciplined. Discipline isn't cold, it's clean. It's the difference between crying in a breakdown and crying with purpose. The first makes you a victim. The second makes you human. Speaking of victims, they are the weakest of all. Victimhood is modern slavery, not physical, psychological. The need to blame, to wait for rescue, to justify staying stuck with your trauma, and society rewards it. Social media gives you hearts for your pain. The system teaches you that your wound is your identity. But here's what they won't tell you. Healing isn't talking about your pain endlessly. Healing is becoming someone your pain can't touch. I'm not denying your pain. I'm denying your passivity. Stop telling your story like a tragedy. Stop making your trauma your identity. Stop using your pain to get sympathy. Start turning it into steel. Because here's the truth. No one cares what happened to you. Not really. They care what you become despite it. And if you can become something unbreakable, something quiet but immovable, then your past becomes a weapon, and your scars become armor. Nietzsche knew this. He said, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." But here's what most people miss. Your why is not found. It is chosen. You don't wait for it. You decide it. You carve it into your life. The moment you do, weakness starts to die. When you know your direction, distractions fade. Drama disappears. Doubt becomes noise. So decide. Right now. Who do you serve? What do you build? What do you protect? What will you not tolerate one more day? Make it real. Write it down. Make it non-negotiable. Because if you don't choose, the world will choose for you. And it will be weak. It will keep you broke, obedient, forgettable. But that's not your fate. Not anymore. You made it this far. That means something. Most people can't sit still when someone touches their weakness. They click away. They chase another hit of comfort. But you're still here. Something in you is waking up. Something that's been asleep too long. Let's talk about your fear of being alone. This is where most people break. You've spent your whole life trying to belong. School taught you to raise your hand for permission. Friends taught you to stay in the group. Family taught you to keep quiet. Relationships taught you to be nice, non-threatening, soft. Slowly, you became addicted to acceptance, not love. Acceptance. The dead kind that requires you to shrink, to silence yourself, to change shape just to be tolerated. But here's what you need to understand. You must be willing to stand alone if you want to know yourself. Most people can't do it. They need constant validation, constant connection, constant noise to drown out their own thoughts. They're terrified of silence because silence forces them to face who they really are. And most people don't like what they see. But that's because they've been living as someone else for so long they forgot their own face. Solitude isn't punishment, it's where you remember. It's where creativity lives. It's where authenticity grows. It's where leaders are born. The strongest people in history spent time alone, not because they were antisocial, because they needed space to think, to create, to become. Belonging has a price, and most people pay with their authenticity, with their strength, with who they really are. But not you, not anymore. You're going to stop begging for a seat at their table. You're going to build your own table. And if no one joins you, good. More space, more clarity, solitude over submission. Why do you sabotage yourself? Why do you delay the things that will make you better? Most people think it's laziness. It's not. It's loyalty. Hidden loyalty. Somewhere you learned that shining too bright made people leave. That power came with loneliness. That honesty came with punishment. So you learned to dim yourself, to delay, to talk yourself out of your own progress just to keep things safe. You procrastinate on your dreams because you're afraid of outgrowing your circle. You stay small because you're afraid of standing out. You play weak because you're afraid of being strong. That's not laziness, that's survival. But it's time to break that agreement. You're not here to be tolerated, you're here to be felt. And that requires intensity. It requires the kind of clarity that makes weak people uncomfortable. The snake that can't shed its skin dies. Weakness is refusing to evolve because you're afraid of who you might lose. But now you're going to rip off the skin. The people pleaser, the overthinker, the one who needs everyone to like them. Gone. Let's get specific. Your language. Every time you say, "I don't know" when you do, you make yourself weaker. Every time you say maybe when you mean no, you break your own integrity. Every time you say sorry for existing, you cut away at your spine. Speak clearly. Don't soften it. People will say you're rude. Let them. That's just the sound of people who got used to you being small, and you're done with that. Your body. Weakness hides in how you stand, how you sit, how you move, how you breathe. Most people live like prey, shoulders down, eyes down, breathing shallow, walking like they're apologizing for taking up space. You can tell someone's entire story by watching them move. The confident ones walk like they own the ground. The weak ones shuffle like they're asking permission to exist. But you're going to change that. Stand like someone who knows they're being watched. Walk like someone who expects to be followed. Sit like someone who doesn't need permission. Breathe like someone who owns their space. Every room you walk into, you own. Not by force, by presence. Presence comes from certainty, and certainty comes from knowing what you believe so deeply you would walk away from anything that doesn't honor it. Figure out what that is, write it down, live by it, let it bleed into everything you do. Let's kill something else. Your addiction to being a victim. When you make your pain your personality, you become loyal to weakness. You find identity in struggle. You need problems to feel important. And the world feeds this. Social media rewards your suffering. Therapy culture tells you to stay wounded. The system profits from your weakness. But here's the truth. No one cares what you survived. They care what you became because of it. And if all you became was bitter and anxious, then you let your story win. So rewrite it. Don't say, "I'm a survivor." Say, "I'm unbreakable." Don't say, "I was hurt." Say, "I became steel." Don't say, "I have anxiety." Say, "I own my mind." Don't say, "I'm healing." Say, "I'm building." Words are power. They shape reality. Speak power or stay silent. Now listen carefully. You already knew everything I just said. Somewhere inside, the real you was listening. The grounded you, the clear you, the one who moves without apology, the one who protects their energy like a king protects their kingdom, who walks away from conversations that make them smaller, who says no with their chest, who says yes only to things that make them sharper, who sits in silence and feels no need to fill it, who speaks and others listen, who enters a room and the energy shifts. That's not motivation, that's home, you're back. But here's the thing, you can't unknow this. You can't go back to making excuses, to delaying, to breaking promises to yourself, because now you know better, and when you know better, you either evolve or you lie. So choose. Choose now. Become the person who wakes up and owns the day, who speaks and creates silence, who walks and others follow. Become the person who doesn't need to be liked because they know they're respected, who doesn't need to be comfortable because they know they're strong. Become the person who looks problems in the eye and sees solutions, who looks fear in the face and sees fuel. Become the person who turns pain into power, who turns scars into stories, who turns weakness into wisdom. Become the person Nietzsche would respect. Not the loudest, not the richest, the most real. The person who looks in the mirror and sees no hesitation, only presence, only power, only truth. This is your standard now, not tomorrow, not next week, now. Every choice you make from this moment forward either honors this or betrays it. Every word you speak either builds this or tears it down. Every action you take either strengthens this or weakens it. So write it down below. One lie you've stopped telling yourself after hearing this. Put it in the comments, make it real. There is no middle ground, there is no going back, there is only forward. Guard this with your life, because this is your life, this is who you are, this is who you've always been. Welcome home.